episode of Text on Video Calls Having Coffee. Today I have, my name is Andreas Karakas, and I have my guest today is Mike from Lenovo. Mike, welcome. How you doing?
Yeah, thanks. Thanks so much. Great to be here. Doing really well.
So tell us, Mike Taggart obviously is one of our vendors, one of those guys that we wanted to bring on to talk to you. He's a wealth of knowledge on a whole bunch of stuff, and we're going to try and keep this, the million things we want to talk about today. We're going to try and keep this about, one topic today. But Mike, tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Well, I've been in the IT industry for just over 20 years now. My last 6 years in the IT industry, I've been working as the channel account manager for a lot of the larger partners in the Greater Vancouver, Lower Mainland area, and supporting them through all of their SMB sales as well as enterprise sales, and supporting anything they need, as well as facilitating them through, the new product lines that are coming out for Lenovo.
Awesome. So, Mike, as we kind of talked in the green room a little bit about, what we're doing here is, we want to bring, experts like yourself to our channel to help bring, those little tidbits of information that we find that we used to get all the time when we used to have people in our office having coffee, right? So we've always had these chats in our office. You'd pass by and, we'd have a cup of coffee and we chat about this cool little thing that was happening. We have an ungodly relation to coffee in this office where we love it a little bit too much. So I've been told anyway. But what about yourself? You a coffee man, tea man? What do you prefer?
I share your love for coffee. I have discovered I was allergic to caffeine a number of years ago and woke up almost crying the day the doctor told me that. But since then, I've fallen in love with decaf coffee now, and I still have a few cups a day. So,
if I was allergic to coffee, I think that would be on my top most dreaded list, like up there with sharks and spiders. Like that.
I did think my world was over, I tell you.
I believe it. All right, so today, obviously, we wanted to talk about, one thing. I know you and I were trying to pare down this laundry list of all the miraculous things that are, making and breaking, our desks, every day. But we want to kind of pare these videos down to, that one thing that we want to talk about. So, what's the one little tidbit of gold that we want to kind of pass on to people today?
Well, I think it's really that, now that people are taking all these mobile devices home, that people really need to be focused on security. And there's a lot of new hardware aspects out there that people can consider when they're looking at the device and how secure it is that they're purchasing. Just to give you some examples, a lot of the new notebooks today can come with something included in them called a Trusted Platform Module chip. And the Trusted Platform Module chip, is an extra layer of security to help you prevent hackers potentially from getting into your system and causing problems. Should a hacker get in, something that they might try to do is to change your BIOS and open up vulnerabilities on your system. And so a lot of the new computers today also come with something called BIOS resilience or rollback features, where your BIOS will boot up and detect if it's been somehow compromised and then revert itself back to the previous healthy state. With the resurgence of video conferencing software, things like Zoom and Microsoft Teams, people are starting to forget that their camera is running in many cases. And so, software inventions like camera sliders have been added to a lot of notebooks today so that you can rest assured that your camera is not broadcasting. We're starting to see a lot of hospitals and HR departments and similar types of companies who are more and more focused on privacy of their data as well. And so we've deployed new hardware technologies I'm seeing out there that replace the typical 3M filters, which you could stick on your screen, with new types of hardware screens themselves that have this built into them now, where you can enable privacy filtration on your screen using a keyboard combination as opposed to having that 3M stick-on filter. Also with new technologies.
Yeah, sure. That's much better than we know those 3Ms really affect light and visibility of the screen, even for the primary user. Like they're meant to prevent other people from spying on the screen, but they typically do cause quite a bit of impact to the primary user as well.
For sure, they weren't the easiest to use simply because they were permanent, right? They were either always on or always off in your bag and then getting damaged. And so, just having to not have to worry about that, carrying around that extra piece is great. Something else that the display privacy we've added as well in technologies today is the ability for new infrared cameras to be used to actually detect how many eyeballs are looking at your screen and be able to notify the user if someone's looking over their shoulder, for example.
I like
infrared infrared cameras are actually really cool because they've also enabled people to use the new features in Windows 10 called the Windows Hello login, which allows you to use your face and take a picture of your face to log into your computer instead of having to type your password. Some people don't like that and prefer using their fingerprint. So a lot of the new laptops now come with fingerprint readers as well as an option. And some of the fingerprint readers are on certain models have even been enhanced to use something called match on chip technology, which differentiates it from the standard fingerprint reader in that traditionally fingerprint readers would store the fingerprint in software that could be hacked. And the newer technologies are now storing that fingerprint in a chip that cannot be hacked into. And, there's even other more secure technologies that we're starting to see widely adopted in healthcare, especially like smart card readers and NFC for logging into computers today. So a lot of options out there to really make your devices more secure than ever.
Yeah, so I think it's important, and you bring up a great point is, everybody's so concerned about security and as I've said before, there's no magic bullet for security, right? It's not one magic pill. You could take it and it protects you from everything. It's about layers, right? So, this is this conversation here, and these technologies that you're talking about, I think are hugely important because it, where your security kind of starts to meet the hardware layer is like when you're buying the laptops, when you're buying the desktops and the PCs and all that, what do you need to consider? And I think, those are some of the key components that I would say, even I didn't think about, they didn't come first to mind, in our purchasing thinking, until obviously we start to like talk to you about these things and go, oh yeah, that would make sense. Oh, right, that should be kind of widespread. Oh yeah, it's nice to have all these BIOS locks, but can you centrally manage that as an IT guy, or even as a business owner? Can an IT guy now? My buddy's putting, my text or my employee is out there and he's putting his password to the BIOS 4 times. Now he's got a brick and it doesn't work anymore because that's really what the BIOS security was a couple of years ago. Now, can we get in there remotely through centralized management portals and manage these things remotely? All those advantages really have taken shape to being something that's usable that we can now, implement security, but also still recover, right?
For sure. And I mean, you can even enhance those management capabilities with some of the technologies that are out there from the processor manufacturers, for example, like the vPro technology available in, say, the Intel processors, or the Pro management features available through the AMD processors. All of that will help you to enhance the device management that you're doing today if you really want to take it to the next level.
Awesome. Well, Mike, I really appreciate this, and I think that's kind of what we wanted to chime in on today. And I know we've got a bunch of other things that we want to talk about, from modernization to more things on security and employees and interactions and all that stuff. So we'll be back soon. I thank you today for joining us. This is our kind of first visit, so it was great having you, and we'll be back soon.
Thanks so much. And by the way, it's 2 cream, 1 sugar, just in case you're wondering. Yeah.
All right. I'll make sure.
Thanks for having me.
I'll make sure we got that ready for you. Thanks.
Right on. Take care.